How's it going, everybody? Moses here, bringing you the Blight Soul Self-Found build guide for my Arc Miner. So mines have been changed. We talked a lot about this on stream and on previous videos. And this is the version of the miner I feel most comfortable with. And this is what, at level 94, I decided to share with you guys. I just killed Shaper, easy clap, got a happy little dying sun. Feels good, man. Off of our first Shaper kill. That was actually pretty fortunate. Like, I never dropped those things. Either way, so this is over, and let the guide begin. So let's start with the links. Arc is 21, feels good, man. With trap and mine damage, increased crit, blast chain, minefield, and controlled destruction. And for single target, you could swap lightning pen, control destruction if you're doing, you know, one of the big boss fights. Is what I would recommend. Cast when damage taken with Immortal Call, Enfeeble, and Detonate Mines. This gem is now not drop only. You can get it from the final tab at Lily Roth's vendor over here in the epilogue Oriath. So you can find it there. Flame Dash and Arcane Surge is how we get Arcane Surge. Lightning Spire, not quite necessary, but still, with Elemental Focus, Lightning Pen, and Trap and Mine damage, not entirely necessary, just for essences. I drop it on the ground a little bit sometimes. Precision, and that's it. Just Precision level 1, reserving 22 mana. Over here we got our Orb of Storms with the triple utility of Onslaught, Innervate, and Ice Bite. Ice Bite gives us Frenzy Charges. Innervate gives us Innervation bonus. Right? Innervation grants bonus lightning damage, and that's a global roll that also affect our Arc Mines. And Onslaught is more movement speed in our case, some cast speed, but mostly the movement speed to feel pretty good about the mapping. Now, about the gear. First, we have this destructive apparatus, which is a passive skill node that is over here. That's a notable that we can now allocate with just a couple of simple oils. We can just add it. It doesn't cost us an actual it doesn't cost us an actual skill point to allocate. We just get it from the oil. So you can do that on any amulet that is not corrupted. Alright, so keep that in mind. This amulet in particular is pretty bad, but it's the best one I got, so Self-Found baby. Doesn't really matter. But we have this node allocated, which gives us throwing speed, mine damage. And if you guys know, it says each mine applies 2% reduced damage dealt to enemies near it. Up to 10%. That means enemies near it take 10% less damage from us? I'm not entirely sure. I think maybe something in the wording here is wrong. I looked at the wiki and I couldn't find any answers. What I think it should mean is enemies take up to 10%. Not take less damage up to 10%, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Please clarify if you know the answer. Moving on. Either way, I don't think it's relevant, and I think 10% throwing speed feels amazing and 20% increased damage. Awesome stuff, and that's pretty much the best node I could use. If I was using, if you're using Icicle Mines, you can get piercing shots. Would feel amazing, I can almost guarantee. If you're using any area, you can use blast waves. Any area mines would be, you could totally use these two. You can also use Master Sapper. I meant efficient explosives with just 25% mine damage, but I decided to go with the speed. It feels pretty good. Um, we talked about that. We talked about everything. So now I want to talk about the boots enchantment. Because I'm using Orb of Storms, I'm killing stuff constantly. So the normal, if you haven't killed recently, if you haven't crit recently, will not apply to give us a permanent damage bonus, right? So if we normally don't use Orb of Storm and we don't kill, we have Boots Enchant that gives us a permanent bonus if we haven't killed recently and if we haven't crit recently. Mines, totems, traps are all doing the damage and killing themselves, critting themselves. So it's not us, it's the mines, totems, traps. So that's how we use these kind of boots enchants. Over here, I managed to get this adds cold damage if you have been hit recently. We're constantly taking small hits, and this lasts 4 seconds, so we're permanently throughout the mapping getting additional cold damage. In my belief, for this kind of build, it's the best boots enchant you can get. Yeah, or elemental penetration if you haven't killed recently versus bossing. But for the most part, we're mapping, and even against bosses, we're getting some cold damage, which is never a bad thing. Alright, alright. Other than that, the gear, I got some, you know, whatever crafted here. Had an open suffix, could use, so there's that. Still no Val Righteous Fire, unfortunately, but you should totally get a Val Righteous Fire increased duration. And a bear trap linked all together, because bear trap is really nice for. I'm just kind of like lazy and just thought of it. So you should totally bear trap, Val Righteous Fire, increased duration, right? Very strong. Bear traps is incredible for these big blight monsters. Slows them down quite massively. Yeah. Life resists, meteor tower deals extra damage. I put it on both because at that point I didn't really have any other oils, and I really don't know what kind of other ring oils I should use. But yeah, outside of that we just have some, you know, life resists, mana, some good stuff. Nothing too insane in terms of the gear. I did get my series, feels good, elemental 15. That's the only thing that matters. Physical is irrelevant for me in this kind of setup. Staunching, heat, and warding. I got the curing, and when it comes to the passive, just I don't know what to take on them. Like, yeah, perhaps we should do this with this cold damage taken to permanently get that. But yeah, at the moment we have curing, and the Ascendancy gives us shock and ignite, so we don't really care about ailments. So Ascendancy, Pyromaniac, Born to Shadows, Bomb Specialist, and Explosive Expert. You take Bomb Specialist first, and then I took Born to Shadows, Pyromaniac, and then Explosive Expert. What happens is, with Explosive Expert, you want to make sure that you have some fire damage to spells, and some cold damage to spells if you're lightning, right? So since I'm lightning, at the moment I don't have any fire. I will fix it. But at the moment I don't have any fire. The reason is, with this recent patch they changed this Explosive Expert node, and it now gives you 3 different bonuses based on the elements on the enemy, and you want to make sure that enemies are ignited, shocked, and chilled all at the same time. I know it's weird, ignite and chill at the same time, but yeah, when you deal fire, cold, and lightning, you will burn, chill, and shock if you crit. And since you're critting all the time, not you, the mines, crit procs these ailments, so that makes it, they're more susceptible to crit. They will take more crit damage, and they will have their, you know, damage penetrate their resistances. So that's an incredible node. You got to make sure that you have fire and you have cold to proc the other 2 bonuses. At the moment I don't have the crit multi against burning enemies, only the penetration and the increased crit chance at the moment, and reduce area damage taken from hits. Seems pretty good. This is it. I believe we covered everything. On the helm I just crafted some mine throwing speed. You can get, you know, etheric fossil crafting and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go through every optimal potential piece of gear. This is the build, work it yourself up with it, and you can also check out my profile for updates, because I'm sure we're going to get some upgrades, and you're always invited to join the stream to check out, say hello, check out the character progress if you feel like. But yeah, I mean, obviously end game stuff is going to look a lot different than just some cold damage, some spell damage, and some crit for spells, right? Obviously we're going to have stuff like elementals, extra chaos, yada yada yada. Multi-modded wands and whatnot. Let's play. Let's kill some monsters. Let's go. Some sulfite. Let's farm a little bit. So yeah, this is the best, most comfortable version of Miner I can allow myself to play. The mine rework, I talked about it a lot on stream. I'm very disappointed with what GGG did. Basically the only reason why I'm playing this right now is because, yeah, it's like traps. It's literally like arc traps that is an all-time favorite, and I would have played traps personally, except I already spec'd into mines, and traps require, you know, I am playing SSF, right? So, and traps require more green sockets on the chest, and I have this corrupted 6-link, and I cannot afford trying to vol it, and I don't see the point. If I do, however, find a different chest, maybe even on a tabula, because we really don't need the resistances. We are somehow extremely overcapped on resistances. I don't even know, it's kind of silly. But if we manage to find 69.9, so almost 70% crit, so yeah, if we manage to find, you know, this build just cruise. If we manage to find a 6-link body armor that accommodates more green sockets, like a pure evasion or whatever, or, you know, evasion energy shield, or even tabula, I can try some ice traps. Ideally, carcass jack for ice traps, ideally. But, you know, nothing is ideal, and it is SSF, so who knows when I'll find it. I do want, however, to try the ice traps, because they were buffed, and I really do recommend them. So Saboteur is still a great Ascendancy. I'm just not happy with everything they did with the new mines and all that, as we talked about in previous videos. If you didn't hear the rant, I strongly recommend you check out the Blight Day 1 recap and other videos of the like. I've basically been only talking about that in my recent 5 or 6 YouTube videos, because it's just outrageously bad. And it's like traps now. Again, I feel like I'm throwing traps. I don't see why it was necessary, who even wanted this, and it just feels worse now, as we talked about. Yeah, it's a long rant. I'm not gonna get into it again. But yeah, arc traps does indeed feel pretty good. And arc mine, sorry, and this is like, if I ever make more type of soul self-found miner stuff, or a league starter miner stuff, even though I want to start moving on from those things, because I don't know, I feel like I overplayed it. And now with the rework, I don't know, I just don't want to go back to arcs all over again. It looks a little bit different with the micro. I decided to buy this automaton thing. I would have loved it, by the way, if we could get, like, you know, herald effects without using the heralds. And also a final word, okay, a final word, and it's quite important. All right, so the whole idea for me is to you know, I make a build, I don't use path of building. All right, if you think that what I'm doing is wrong, don't try and tell me why you're not. Ooh, 6-link recipe, baby. All right, so yeah, if you think what I'm doing is wrong, oh my god, this is really good. I was worried, honestly. I was worried because I haven't seen any delves. I've been delving. I spent like 50,000 sulfite or something. I haven't seen any delves. And now we have a big city. Oh wow. Wow, monster level is 81, so tier 16 is probably not gonna get there. Primeval Ruins, yo, this is a pretty big one. You know, this is an exception. I was gonna finish the video, but I want to at least explore these cities. So yeah, if you think what I'm doing is wrong, not really for you, by all means. Nobody's, you know, I'm not saying that my word is law. The way I'm building a character is just based on trial and error, based on how I feel. I didn't like skitterbots at all, and that's what I was gonna say. Skitterbots. I think they're garbage overall. I think they don't add a thing. And from what I've played, I feel like I'm doing exactly the same amount of damage, except I'm dying more because Mind Over Matter really kind of wants you to have a lot of mana to be able to buffer up those big hits. If you feel like, you know, if you're running a different setup, if you're running a low life miner, if you're running a low life trapper, you know, they're good for mines and traps. If you want, if you're running hybrid, you know, and you're not doing acro, phase acro, right? Because it reduces your energy shield. So if you're doing anything like that, and you feel like skitterbots are contributing to you, then great. Don't let me tell you that what you're doing is wrong, because I would be wrong doing so. Alright, so it's really important for me to understand, for you to understand, it's important that I do things my own way, but you can take this build and get the idea, and you know, and that goes for all of my builds, not just this one. Every single build that I do, I just do based on my own trial and error. There's no right and wrong, and I don't care about the path of building and what that says. All I care about is how my character feels like when I play it. That's all I really care about. I want to enjoy playing the video game. I don't care about tooltip DPS, shaper DPS, POB. I've never used it myself ever. Alright, so it's important for you to understand this. That's the way I'm doing things. I really don't care. You know, you want to use skitterbots, they're supposed to do something, use them. I personally don't feel like they're doing anything except making me die, because I don't have my Mind Over Matter. You know, I'm reserving 600 mana now instead of having... You get the point, right? So, okay, so there's no boss. At least it doesn't look like there's a boss. There might be a boss here, who knows. Yeah, let's do this one too. Let's get real quickly some... wow, I can't believe I'm getting the 6-link recipe. Even before I'm getting the 6-socket recipe. Still no Abyssal Chamber, but I got this. Primeval Ruins, that's incredible. Cast speed, spell damage, crit multi. Why super low tier? This could have been a nice amulet. I'm gonna keep it because, you know, self-cast is decent. You can craft some life on it and maybe get lucky with a Jorgen amulet or whatnot. And I am SSF, but this is a nice little baby amulet. Everything rolled so low, except cast speed. But yeah, crit multi so low. Damn, unfortunate. But I mean, definitely a keeper. So, you know what I mean, guys? I don't like skitterbots. What can I say? I tried. I really, really did. I even was like, okay, now that I got the Ascendancy and everything is permanently chilled and frozen around me with skitterbots, maybe now it's going to feel better, and it didn't. It's just, you know, this I don't understand. It's worthy of 5% mana reservation, never 35. I don't understand. Maybe something like Blood and Sand for melee, 10% mana reservation. I would use it if it was 10%. I don't want to feel like, you know, I want to play like my old miner. That feels comfortable and I enjoy it better. That's the way I'm used to doing things. And skitterbots just make me die all the time because I just don't have enough buffer and my HP pool is pretty low. You know, but again, if you're in a trade league, you have access to high energy shield life bases that you can make a hybrid life energy shield with. You can use then discipline, and you can make a different tree that's like more hybrid life nodes with energy shield nodes, yeah. And you can reserve discipline and skitterbots, and that's fine. You can do whatever you want. You know what? We did all that. Let's go and get this recipe. 6-link recipe, baby. Wow, it's unbelievable. So 154. They revamped Delve. This is like legit the first city I see since Delve 70. There was a Val outpost with like Delve monster level 70. It was like really, really like low tier. It was like tier 2, tier 3 maps or something. So I just decided to get rid of it. And I left the nodes unfarmed. Alright, give me that 6-link. Oh yeah! Socket link, 6-link socket. Last league, just so you understand, it took me like a month to get this recipe. We are in the first week of the league right now. This is incredible. 81. So in theory I can get like tier 15 maps here. Or 16 corrupted if I get lucky with like bloodstained chart chest. So we'll try that. But yeah, I mean, arc mines, like, they're blasting. Ooh, we're taking some damage. Arc mines are blasting. They feel really good. They feel really smooth. They feel like just like arc traps, which is why I'm playing them, because I already played arc traps. We killed Uber Elder with arc traps, and this just feels exactly the same. So here we are, doing essentially the same thing, only with mines. Only they feel like traps. I don't know. Give me some 15s, a 14 and a 12. Sure. I'll take it. 14 is normally what you would get in level 81, monster level 81, so yeah. And still early enough for me to even pick up a flooded mine map. So we are going to finish this video right now. As soon as we're done with Uber Elder, we just need to farm a few tier 16s. That we're going to do tomorrow, because I gotta get to work. So a few tier 16, 2 sets of full 16 Elder Guardians we need, and once we have that, I will kill Uber Elder using this blob right here to enter, killing Uber Elder, and then I'll remove all the Guardians and I'll tier 16 Elder Blob on Excavation. I made a video on Excavation and why you should do that, or at least why I'm doing it. Feel free to check it out. And this was the Arc Miner build guide for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys on stream. Make sure to follow, subscribe, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. Say hello. Bye bye.